The sniper, everyone's least favorite Australian outbacker. I mean, when there's a good sniper on the other team, it can be one of the most infuriating things to die from, just across the map over and over and over again. But on the other hand, if you have a couple of bad snipers on your team, you're basically down a couple players because they can somehow manage to repeatedly miss the other team standing at point blank range. It's just a big mess, man. Now, of course, as with every other class, not all snipers are created equal. And a lot of what determines a good sniper from a bad one comes with the different weapons that they use. Now, I gotta do the whole disclaimer thing again. You know what? You know the drill. Stereotypes don't mean everyone, blah, 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 disclaimer, blah, 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 satire, blah, 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 parody. You get the idea, right? Okay, let's go. This is another one of those stock weapons that is so widely used that it becomes difficult to pin someone down just because they use it. But interestingly, I have noticed that the stock sniper rifle has the biggest variance in terms of its alternate versions. And no, I'm not talking about the AWP, I'll get into that one later, but I mean like the ones that are still the stock sniper, just with stuff added on. So for example, bot killer sniper rifles seem to attract anger snipers. I'm not really sure why. They're not overly edgy, and while they do look cool, there's no reason for it to be as widespread as it is. These are the ones that tend to be renamed really overused edgy and immature things like aimbot.exe, a Lenny face, a point-and-click adventure game, a racial slur, etc. Australian snipers have a 50-50 chance of being either godlike or complete shit. These are also the ones that tend to be renamed bullshit Latin words because they want everyone to think they're smart. Festive snipers, the original limited ones, not the skin festive ones. Festive snipers are the ones that you should actually watch out for. These guys are almost always really good. Their rifles aren't usually renamed, and if they are, it's probably an inside joke with their friends or it's named after their boyfriend or girlfriend. Despite all of these, if you see a stock sniper, just be observant. You should be able to tell pretty quickly how good they are and how you should approach them. This is by far the biggest war pig in this series that I've covered so far, and at the same time, it seems kind of unfair. There's a ton of reasons you might want to use this. You might be a CSGO player, you might think the model looks better, you might just think it sounds cool, whatever, but at the same time, it's very rare to encounter an op sniper that doesn't think he's hot shit. This sniper can't actually aim headshots, so he just uses this as a crutch and a tool to make people mad. Weirdly enough, I've noticed that this stereotype has kind of fallen off in recent years, and there hasn't really been anything to replace it. This could just be because of the new pseudo-explosive headshot mechanic, giving it more of a support role, or because this thing has taken its place as the body shotting machine, which we're gonna get into later. For now though, if you see one of these snipers, they're probably either running the full set with the danger shield and the crocodile hat, or they're just running the full piss loadout. Either way, they're set out to kill you, so be aware. These guys are the Swagman Swatter snipers of the weapon stereotype series. Nobody thinks much of them until they start demolishing the entire server without mercy and without saying a single word in chat. You can't ever peek any sightlines because chances are he's there, hiding his sniper dot perfectly, and will instantly headshot you the second you show your face. He's like an aimbotter, if an aimbotter was actually smart and had good game sense and positioning. 3 words. Fully charged body shots, if you count body shot as one word, which I do. This guy has no qualms with giving up the flashiness of a headshot to secure a kill, and will do it regularly, to the point where people get more salty about body shots from these than they do with body shots from the Sydney Sleeper, which is the weapon that was made for that. You can find these guys on maps with really tight corridors like Dust Bowl or Turbine, trying to get those sick collateral kills for their montage. I wouldn't necessarily say it's a war pig, but if you see a Machina sniper, there's a good chance he thinks he's really good at the game. Also, I'd be hard-pressed to skip over the ever-present body-shotting Machina Danger Shield Gibbous Vision 2 Fort sniper. This guy doesn't even know what game he's playing, but is still somehow out-sniping you. He'd probably taunt, but I don't think he knows what button to press. This isn't as big of a war pig as the Upper Hand, but it's still pretty significant. I mean, it makes sense. This weapon rewards you for hitting headshots and it punishes you for missing them. So if you use this, you're probably pretty confident in your ability to hit them. Now, I haven't seen this stereotype myself to the same extent that I've seen others. Maybe that's just because of my limited experience with the class, or maybe that's because everyone who mentioned this in comments or tweets or whatever are all organized and feeding me misinformation to mess with me. I don't know. Most Heatmaker snipers that I see are just kind of mediocre. Also worth noting that these guys seem to get tilted very easily. Market gardening them a few times will almost always cause them to switch off to pyro or something, which by the way, isn't gonna help you all that much for very long.
You may not call yourself a superhero, but you have many superpowers. The Joint Chiropractic can help ease your pain and keep you active. Visit today and get your first consultation, exam, and adjustment for just $29.
This guy is almost certainly memeing. I mean, you really can't even pull the new player that doesn't know any better card, because 90% of the time these guys can't even figure out how to fire it, and they just switch back to whatever rifle they were using after one life. Like, yeah, it's that bad. So if you see a classic sniper, he's probably just dicking around with his friends trying to get 360 no-scope, headshot YY fakey ladder stall kills and other dumb shit. I don't know, dude. If I had to describe the Huntsman with one simple Bill Wirtz reference, it would be...
Wow, that worked?
I mean, seriously, the Huntsman is the poster child for unintentional bullshit. Most of the kills you get with this are going to be the result of either random spam or just corner peeking. Like, lots and lots and lots and lots of corner peeking. And I'll be the first to admit, there is definitely some skill involved with this weapon. Plus, snipers who use this tend to be way more aggressive than your typical stock snipers, which I appreciate, considering I really dislike fighting against more passive playstyles like the black box conch thing. But if we're being honest, there's a very good reason that it was nicknamed the Luxman.
Ah, the SMG. People who use this are what I like to call the Josie Zułapski 2005s. Commonly seen in Payload Upward and CTF 2FOT servers, these guys are the snipers that have just came off their favorite Minecraft role-playing server and found TF2 in the Steam's free-to-play section. They instinctively use their 9-year-old Call of Duty experience and make the assumption that the SMG is a super strong gun that will four-shot any player in close to mid-range. I hate to break it to you guys, this isn't Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. This is TF2. You can tell these guys apart by a few things. Firstly, you'll notice that they have 2000 and something at the end of their name, most commonly 2004 for whatever reason, and that is also accompanied by their silver casual badge and their newly acquired ghostly gibbous.
This guy is almost certainly running the Bushwhacker, and there's also a very good chance that he's running the Huntsman, but the Bushwhacker is almost a guaranteed. It's not a very good weapon, in all honesty, but it's very effective in one specific situation: tank shredding. You'd be surprised how well this works with your swing speed maxed. Anyway, outside of MVM, the one thing that you can assume for sure about this guy is that at some point, he's going to run at you with his melee out, and he's probably going to fail miserably. This is generally seen as the best support secondary for Sniper, but more often than not, snipers that run Jarate will be really selfish with it. Like, there's a pretty good chance that they only equipped it because there's a Scorch Shot Pyro on the other team harassing them, and if that isn't the case, they're probably using the Jarate Bushwhacker combo from hell, which I'm gonna get into later. All that said, on the rare occasion that you run into a Jarate sniper that actually uses it to help his teammates, well, it's a really nice change of pace. This guy is sick of spies, but can't be bothered to actually use his ears. It's considered meta in a lot of competitive leagues, or it was at some point, but it's not as hard of a counter to spy as some people think it is. This is because most Razorback snipers think they're completely immune from spies, and they just seem to forget that, you know, Spy has a gun. He can shoot people with it. But of course, these guys just ignore that and stay permascoped until they get shot, and this opens up a whole bunch of ways to mess with them, which is always fun.
Okay, stop the video. I am Snow, and I hereby take over this video to talk to you about the Darwin's Danger Shield. This is not a joke, so listen up. Using the Darwin's Danger Shield is bad, and you simply make a fool out of yourself by showing the world you are a coward and a terrible sniper. What's worse, it lacks any form of respect for the enemies. If you see someone using the Darwin's Danger Shield, do not take this lightly. Kill them quick, taunt, shit-talk them, and call the cops. The safety of our people is in your hands. Thank you. And you, Smitheroo of the audio. You say one thing good about the Darwins. You play one game with the Darwins. You upload one clip with the Darwins. I will find you, and I will kill you. You think this is scripted? Well, why don't you go ahead and find out for yourself? Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
This isn't nearly as good as it used to be, but it's still used by those who really like to stay at one end of the map and permascope down a sightline. Once you get body shot by them once, just avoid that one specific sightline for the rest of the game, because chances are they'll be there the entire time. The flinching immunity only happens when their rifle is fully charged up, so they tend to get tunnel vision very easily because they don't want to lose that immunity, which again means that it's pretty fun to mess with them. There's nothing really special about this weapon, honestly. You'd be better off looking at what type of reskin they have to get an idea of what you're dealing with. That said, it would be a crime to move on without talking about this thing's crit rate. It's ridiculous. That's it. This is pretty commonly run with the Razorbacks simply because these guys can't stand spies and they want a means of tracking them down while still having backstab immunity. They also love to tell you how the 33 damage hit and 48 bleed damage adds up to more than 65, so it technically does more damage than stock. Like, seriously, if I had a refined medal for every time a Tribalman's Shiv sniper berated me for using stock and then telling me about how theirs does more damage, I'd be able to I don't know, I'd be able to buy something ridiculous. The point is, they never shut up about it. The Shanashah, the Shanshaha, the Shanasha, the Shansha. Okay, cool. The Shah-un-Shah is one of those weapons that seems like it could be really cool on paper. And granted, in certain situations it is. In fact, it can be pretty ridiculous. But that said, most of the time it isn't. Like, if you get down to that low health and you're within melee range, you're probably dead anyway. And an 81 damage hit as opposed to a 65 damage hit really isn't gonna change all that much. I mean, really, you still 2-shot light classes and you 3-shot demos and pyros still. I guess you 2-shot medics now and can 3-shot soldiers, so that's okay, but if you let either of those classes get that close to you, you probably deserve to die. That said, the people who use this will swear by it, much like some medics do with the Solemn Vow. For this reason, they'll try to pull it out and use it at every opportunity so that they can prove to themselves that it's good, and that usually puts them at a disadvantage. Hey you! Yeah, you. Are headshots too hard? Do you hate the fact that the dedicated long-range class is weak at close range? Do you need a get-out-of-jail-free card for when someone tries to exploit that weakness? Well, boy howdy do I have a weapon for you. I just said boy howdy unironically. Kill me now. Seriously though, the Bushwhacker is almost exclusively used with the Jarate, or sometimes the Carbine if they're memeing, but it's generally used by snipers that can't kill someone before they get too close, and they also can't hit anything at close range. So instead, they'll just run this combo and get free crits. They'll camp the resupply locker whenever possible so that they can have next to no cooldown on their Jarate, and they will always use the Schadenfreude after getting a kill with it. Everyone who doesn't use it can't stand the people who do use it, and everyone who does use it is extremely defensive about using it and will fight tooth and nail trying to justify it. So overall, it's just a big mess, man. There is one good thing to come out of this combo though. Once you get Jarati'd, the sniper who threw it will relentlessly focus you and get extreme tunnel vision trying to kill you. This means that you can bait them very easily, leading to some funny situations. And that's it. That's all the sniper weapons. Same deal as always. We're gonna finish up the series with Spy next time, so let me know if you have any suggestions. And that's it. It's over. You can go now.
One night, New York City.